Rob, there's a major situation going on right now with Scarlett Johansson and Disney. And we talked.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about this. A little bit of a dust up, a little bit of personal conflict, a little bit of an antagonist and protagonist. Yeah, there's a little drama going on right now over at the house that Bob Chapek is apparently burning to the ground, the Mouse House. A little bit of drama going on there. We talked about it on the show yesterday that Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney because they breached their contract, they breached their agreement, and she's suing them. Now, we're going to talk about the Scarlett Johansson aspect of this specifically a little bit later in the show, so hang tight. But I mentioned the Scarlett Johansson thing right now because it's directly connected to another off the top here, and that is this. Kevin Feige. Rob, if there is anybody, I think most people can agree, if there is anybody living under the roof of the Mouse House right now, that everybody would agree is the one person you cannot piss off, is the one person you cannot alienate, and is the one person you cannot get on their bad side because this dude is the goose who is laying your frickin' golden eggs. I think everybody would agree if there is that one person, it's Kevin Feige. We have been hearing word, Rob, that there has been a lot of infighting and debate over at Disney over the whole premium access, release a movie in theaters and charge $30 for it on Disney Plus. There has been some massive disagreements going on over there. Well, apparently one of the people who is a part of that argument and those disagreements is Kevin Feige himself. And by the way, our friends Harvey Dude and Mal both send in super chat badges in the live chat. Thank you guys. Appreciate that very much. Because it's now being reported that Kevin Feige is extremely upset over not just the lawsuit that's going on, but he's been upset and angry over the whole decision to put Black Widow on Disney Plus for premium $30 release. Now, this does not come to us from Gus's moviereviews.fart. This comes to us from one of the guys who was at one point was one of the senior film reporters for the Hollywood Reporter. Bellani. And Bellani now does his own stuff online as well. He's got his newsletter. His name's Matt Bellani. He was with a number of the big trades. He's a reputable guy in this business. But Matt Bellani has talked about this, and he's talked to his inside contacts at Disney, and this is what they're saying. Bellani writes, and make no mistake, Kevin Feige is pissed. He is a company man and not prone to corporate showdowns or shouting matches. But I am told he is angry and embarrassed. He lobbied Disney against the day and date plan for Black Widow, preferring the big screen exclusivity and not wanting to upset his talent. And then, when the shit hit the fan, the movie started tanking and Johansson's team threatened litigation. He wanted Disney to make things right with her. However, Disney declined to comment on Feige. So there's a couple of things here. Number one, Kevin Feige himself did not want his movie going onto day and date release on Disney Plus. So he was already pissed and embarrassed about that. Then when he found out about the behind the scenes drama going on that Scarlett Johansson's representation had been reaching out to Disney, say, hey, listen, this is violating our agreements. We got to make this right. Let's come to the table and let's renegotiate this so you guys can compensate Scarlett properly, and then we have no problem. But Disney refused. They said, no, we're Disney, damn it. You'll take what we give you and you'll say thank you. That's what you're going to do. And by the way, Harvey Dude also sends another $10 super chat badge in live chat. Thank you, Harvey. No, we're Disney. We're not going to do what Warner Brothers did. Because remember, there was the same problem with this, Rob, over at Warner Brothers. Do you remember this? When they were going to be releasing like Wonder Woman, their things, what did Warner Brothers do? They got together with the talent. They said, okay, yep, you would have made more money had we honored the agreement and put these things out theatrically exclusively. So let's make it right. Let's make it right. What can we do here to make it right?
But
go ahead.
They also didn't tell anyone they were going to do this.
Yes.
You know, they went ahead and made this decision unilaterally without talking to the filmmakers. And
they backstabbed everybody.
That was very, very uncool. And the deluge of bad blood that they created from nothing, they had to do something.
Yeah. So, but at least they did something.
Yeah.
And here Scarlett Johansson's lawyers had been reaching out to Disney and say, hey, let's come to the table. Let's sit down and work this out. And they did not. So Kevin Feige, now again, we're going to talk more in depth about the specific Scarlett Johansson versus Disney drama in a little bit. Right now we're focusing on the Kevin Feige part of this. So Kevin Feige, who everybody who works with Feige loves Feige. And that relationship that Feige fosters with the talent that he works with is of supreme importance to him. And not only was he frustrated and angry that Disney made the decision to put Black Widow on Disney Plus, he then became further upset about the fact that they weren't working this thing out with Scarlett Johansson, and now it's become public because, you know, lawsuits are part of public record. That comes out. Nobody made an announcement, but it's going to come out once a lawsuit is filed. And he's pissed. And Rob, I got to tell you, it's not that I think Kevin Feige is above everybody else and that you just have to kowtow to anything, whatever Kevin Feige wants. Not at all. I'm not suggesting that in the least. But, I've been becoming increasingly frustrated, Rob, as a Disney fan. Because, and increasingly embarrassed and feeling foolish. Because about a year ago, or however long ago it was, when they announced that Bob Chapek was going to be the heir to Bob Iger's throne, that he was the guy now that's going to be, and then they made that transition. Bob Chapek became the CEO. You know, a lot of people who are big fans of Disney parks and follow Disney parks started saying right away, this is bad, because Chapek was awful for parks. And we're going to see where this goes. But I, at the time, and now I'm embarrassed, because at the time, Rob, you remember, I was like, you know what? This is a good choice. Bob Chapek is a good choice. He obviously has Iger's trust. This is guy, he's got loads of experience with this company. He has been a company man for a long time. They obviously picked him for a reason. This is going to work out fine. Nobody worry. This is going to work out fine. But over the last year, Rob, I have become, as a Disney fan, just as a fan, increasingly bewildered and frustrated at the decisions this guy has been making. His seemingly inability to get people on board with his vision, his refusal to listen to dissenting voices within his own company. We've been talking for a while that there's been a lot of drama going on behind closed doors, and even Chapek and Iger are at odds. But Iger can't really do anything because he's on his way out. He's still the chairman of the board, but he's leaving that position here in just a couple months. Or sooner than that, at any rate. Hearing that he is so mismanaging his relationships with his absolute top people, like a Kevin Feige. Dude, I've gone from being the idiot who stood up saying, Bob Chapek's going to be great. That was me. I'm the one who said that. And now I'm sitting here like, Bob Chapek's going to be the one to burn this thing to the ground. And I don't know. And now there's also words, by the way, in these same reports that are coming out right now, that not only has he alienated Kevin Feige and he's alienated his top talent, now there's also word that Emma Stone, Academy Award winner Emma Stone, is now considering her own lawsuit over Cruella because they broke their agreement with her too. So this is all under Chapek's watch. Rob, under Iger, for the last 10 years, we have heard nothing but sunshine and hand-holding and singing Kumbaya while making s'mores over the fireplace of great success and money as they burned bricks of money because everybody was happy, everybody was getting along, everybody felt heard, everybody felt like they were being treated fairly. And now, less than a year into this dude's reign, we're hearing all this infighting amongst executives. The board and the CEO are dividing over things. Kevin Feige's unhappy. Scarlett Johansson, who's been one of the most loyal soldiers over there in the MCU, is now having to sue you. Now we're hearing Emma Stone may sue them too. This is all happening under this guy's watch. And I don't want to make this about Bob Chapek. It's more about Kevin Feige and hearing this. Rob, and by the way, Kalako sends in a super chat badge in live chat. Thank you, Kalako. Let me ask you this. Like he said in the article here, Kevin Feige's a company man. Like, he doesn't like drama. He doesn't like stirring things up, blah, blah, blah. I've never seen him even angry or upset. But you read this now. What's your impressions? What are the first things that pops into your mind?
Oh, I following this story. I've been reporting on my own channel. I've been thinking a lot about this. And I even said, Kevin Feige was not unaware, if I had to put money on it, he was not unaware of Scarlett Johansson's actions. I think that they probably have the kind of relationship, and I'll bet you that Kevin Feige probably suggested she should move forward. I have no reason to say that, but I'm willing to bet you, because here's the thing. Kevin Feige's a filmmaker. He's a producer. And what happens is when his plans are disrupted by his parent company, usually the parent company, we see this all the time, whether we saw what happened with the Snyder Cut or David Ayer's Suicide Squad over at Warner Brothers, and then what happened with the whole AT&T merger over there. These guys, these business people, their eyes are only on quarterly profits, maximizing money, maximizing dollars. They don't understand that they're only as successful as the products they're selling, whether it's the parks, the movies, whatever. But the people, the executives who are running the business, their concerns are very different from, say, Kevin Feige, who has to make all of this stuff. The executives just assume that what they're making is going to work. Same thing is true of Star Wars. We'll buy Star Wars because that brand always works, without the understanding that, no, it has to be good. You have to make good Star Wars, just like you have to make good Marvel films. And Kevin Feige is a master of creating loyalty, brand awareness by working with talented people. He gives people a shot that might not normally have that shot. When you've worked with someone like Scarlett Johansson for 10 years, you know, she's a valued member of the community. And also they had 23 Marvel movies that performed a certain way. So there's precedent there. So they come in, and the one movie that they change because of the pandemic is Black Widow. And then they do their shenanigans, like, okay, now we're going to make it available day and date premium on Disney Plus because, hey, they want those subscribers. You know, they want people to, the executives want people to come to Disney Plus. They want to increase that number because that's a sure thing when it comes to money. People pay money every month. It's the most surefire, stable way a movie company can make money. So they were making all of these considerations without thinking that, you know what? I always say, John, it ain't show friends, it's show business. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. Well, Scarlett Johansson negotiated something, and Disney is getting what they deserve right now. And I think that you can't make decisions when talent is involved without making the talent involved. And then I'll tell you the worst thing that happened, and I can only imagine Kevin Feige went, I'm surprised half of Burbank didn't blow up in a nuclear conflagration yesterday. When the Disney, whoever they made as their spokesperson to respond to this.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a bit. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Okay. Well, that response.
That's a story for a little bit later in the show.
That, to me, I'm like, I don't know. That person should never work in the entertainment business again, as far as I'm concerned. But to take somebody who's a foundational Avenger and who's been in the Jungle Book, did a voice in the Jungle Book, who was in Jojo Rabbit, you know, a 2-time Academy Award winner, and how many I don't know. But it's like, to do that to your talent that's at the Scarlett Johansson's at the right now, she's at the front, she's fronting for Disney. I mean, and what they've done is Disney has turned what should have been a great thing. It's the only Marvel movie that has a black mark against it, not just because it's called Black Widow, because this release was botched. It's not playing in China. You know, there's all kinds of craziness happening here. And this is not any fault of Scarlett Johansson's, and it's not any fault of Kevin Feige. And right now, Disney is damaging the Marvel brand. And I'm like, you know what? If I was Kevin Feige, I'd walk into that office, to Bob Chapek's office, and go, fine, let's have a vote of no confidence. I didn't want to do this, but I'm taking over.
Yeah, I don't think he's got that much cash. Just to be clear, Scarlett Johansson has 2 Academy Award nominations. She has 2 Academy Award nominations, not Academy Award wins. And by the way, just quickly, Peter Cunnington sends in a super chat badge in live chat. Thank you, Peter. I mean, I don't know that Kevin Feige has that kind of cachet that he can do that. I call for a vote of no confidence. But
well, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, Kevin Feige's also, look at what he's doing for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
You know, he needs to keep his brand going. And what they did was they basically made Black Widow a TV show. Whereas I really do think that part of their strategy, certainly Marvel's strategy, is to have the prestige movies and the TV shows and make them work together synergistically. But you got to keep the movies sacrosanct, give them their theatrical runs. That's what you got to do. And that was probably what Marvel was basing their entire strategy on. And Disney came along and said, nope. We're going to now equalize your movies and your TV shows and put them on the same playing field.
Listen,
you think you like that?
I'll tell you right now. I will tell you right now, probably at this moment in Burbank, California, there is a phone call happening right now from the CEO of Discovery, who are now the owners, or very soon, once all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, they're going to be the new owners of Warner Brothers here pretty soon. I guarantee you today, if it hasn't happened already, the CEO of Discovery is calling Kevin Feige and saying, hey, just throwing this out there. We've got a home for you over here. Once we take over Warner Brothers, we got a home for you here. And we ain't going to pull any kind of shit. You ask any of my presidents, my president of HGTV, my president of the Food Network, my president of the Travel Channel, my president of this. You talk to any of my presidents, I give you free reign. You want to come over once I take over Warner Brothers, Kevin? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I am telling you that phone call is happening today.
And he probably says, for all the presidents I already have, I'm going to send over 1 full Brinks truck of cash. Because and I'm going to send the extra truck over that'll be your truck, and then I'm going to double it if you come on over.
Yeah,
I don't think, by the way, I don't think Kevin Feige would do that, because I think he's made so many plans, and I think at this point, I don't think it's ever been about the money for him. I think that ultimately, look, it's always about money, of course, but they've made so much money. Like, how much money does he need? But I really do think that he's now in a position personally. He's seeing, I already made these 23 movies. I'm going to see if I can do it again. And he has a plan in place, and he's going to build and build and build. But what he can't have, it's like what Ike Perlmutter was doing. Yeah. I can't have this interference. I can't have this interference from I can't have you upsetting my talent. I can't have you not living up to your obligations, because my reputation is such that people have to believe in Marvel, that when we sign agreements, we live up to the agreements. And you put me and everything I'm doing and all of my talent is all in jeopardy now because of you. Yeah,
because now when I tell one of my talent, if I'm sitting down with a Chris Pratt or with a Chris Hemsworth or with a Elizabeth Olsen, and I tell them something, they're not going to know. They can believe me, but they're going to say, well, that's fine that you're saying that, Kevin, but Chapek might override you. You know, and if that's not there, now you and I differ on what we think Kevin Feige's future is, because I have felt for a couple of years that Kevin Feige, he's too much of a creative guy. I think he needs new challenges. I already think he knows he's got nothing left to prove at Disney. I think he is looking for an excuse to maybe leave at some point, but I don't know, you feel differently, but he does certainly have a lot of plans laid out, and that's what a good leader will do. But we need to move on from this. But listen, guys, the question is for you. How are you feeling about this? You know, now we're hearing from, some pretty solid sources that Kevin Feige has been upset about the whole Disney Premium thing with Black Widow, about the fact that he wanted Disney to settle this with Scarlett quietly behind the scenes a long time ago. They wouldn't meet with him. He's feeling like his reputation with his own talent is taking a hit. What could the repercussions of this be? Whatever you guys are thinking about this, jump on down into the comment section and leave us your thoughts.